This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
Very, very, very low.
This is how we do it.
I'm not hearing the music.
It's very low.
No? Oh.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Let me just turn that off for a minute here. And thank you so much for taking your time out to support Denise Thomas and her Amazon book launch today. So let's get those hands up in the air because she's going to show us how we're going to do it. Scholarship winning style, right?
That is
Excellent.
right.
Excellent, excellent. So the Amazon link is live. It's here on the screen for you. And Neela's going to help with putting in the chat as well. We're streaming inside the parents Facebook group, as well as Write Your Short Book in a Day group. So welcome to all of you who are watching, not in the Zoom room. You're welcome to join the Zoom room too, if you like. But, you know, we're just so grateful to be here and kick things off. You know, this is about going to college and scholarship winning. I love to go around the room, just hear from everyone. Where did you go to school? Or if you have a college-bound team, where would they like to go to school?
Start from where you can see them on your screen.
All right, Jackie.
I went to AIU. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yes. And Tiffany.
I went to Mary Baldwin College.
Nice. Awesome. Mila.
Chico State in Northern California. Woo! Wonderful school.
Way to represent. Dr. Moses.
Hello, everyone. What are we doing? I was a little late there.
Oh, where did you go to school, Dr. Moses? Your college.
Pepperdine University.
Wow.
Pepperdine. Woo! Excellent. How about you, Dale?
I just realized I was muted. I went to Yale.
Nice.
Dale went to Yale.
Yeah.
Okay. And Dia says here in the chat, she went to, let me just see it here. Bellhaven. Woohoo, Bellhaven College. Awesome. I grew up in Worcester, Mass, and I attended College of the Holy Cross. I've got my UNF shirt on because I'm in Florida now. And the premier school in Jacksonville is University of North Florida. And I'm thinking about actually taking some continuing education classes with them. So happy to see all of you here. School pride. All right, Denise, take it away.
All right. I am so excited to have my friends here with me. Y'all, this is such an event for me. I have been had chapters in other anthologies and other books, but this is mine. I'm so excited. This is my book, and it is something that is going to change so many lives. While I was at a homeschool convention. I'm teaching at homeschool conventions, and I have a vendor booth at quite a number of conventions this year. And one of the volunteers who took my booth and held down the fort for about 10 minutes. It was so cool because I came back to the booth 10 minutes later and I found him. I don't know, he was probably like at about page 81 or something. And he's like literally doing this. He says, "I'm just finishing your book." He's a speed reader. And he had just finished the book, and another family had stepped up to the table, and he said, "Oh my gosh, this book it's very step by step. It tells you exactly what to do and how to do it to find the scholarships your child has the best chance of winning." I was so excited to see this, to see him read it that quickly and to get that from it. Those of you who know me, I don't do fluff. There is no fluff in anything that I write. It is strictly exactly what to do, why you need to do it like this. And well, by golly, let's get some scholarships for your kids and your grandkids and your friends and your family. That's what this is all about.
So cool, Denise. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us that. And we're going to conduct our first poll because we want to kind of get a temperature of who's in the room with us today. So we're going to launch our first poll. So here we go. We'd love to know, what are the ages of your children or grandchildren? So here it is on the screen. So we want to know, are they age 0 to 10, middle school, early high school, currently junior, senior headed to college, senior taking a gap year, college student, or adults or no children at home? All right, people are answering in. Woohoo! Excellent. Do you see the poll results too, Denise? As I made you co-host, I don't know if you can see the poll results.
Olivia, I can
You're on
only
mute.
pick one answer, but I have two juniors, one that's going into college, one that's in college, and then about 14 others.
Oh my goodness, you got a full house, do you?
Those are grandchildren.
Okay.
And for
grandchildren.
Dia, it's around the world. They're everywhere, right?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, so you are all in the right place to be hearing this information now, because one of the things that Denise knows, recommends is to start early.
The earlier, the better.
The earlier, the better, indeed. And how many of you have watched Denise's TEDx talk? Have you all seen that? And one of the things I really liked about your TEDx talk, Denise, I mean, just like caught me off guard, was like, college is not meant to be a debt sentence. And for some reason, society just seems to pound on this idea that debt is acceptable. It's okay. Take out a student loan. Why not?
It's not a requirement, definitely not. And I wish that the media would show us more kids that actually graduate debt-free, because 30% of college students graduate debt-free. 30%, that's a lot. But instead, they show us the ones who don't just have the average amount of debt, which in all honesty is kind of doable. Because for someone in their 40s or over, for most of us in that age range, it's a car note. It's probably not going to break the bank. Yeah, for a 22, 26-year-old, it's a little bit of a struggle to come up with an extra $400 per month, depending on the industry you're in. But for most people, they can handle that. That is the average debt. But that's not what the media focuses on. They focus on the outliers, the ones who have literally 100 or 200,000 or more in student loan debt. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's not a requirement for everyone. I wanted to address something else that I noticed in the media, because it was drawn to my attention at the most recent conference that I did. A family walked up, and one of the things in our discussion, he mentioned, did you see the most recent article? And I forget which news outlet it was on, but it was a big news outlet. And what you have to remember too is when one news outlet, one media finds something, they all pick up on it, and everybody's got their take on it. They're all going to disseminate the same information. So here's what the article was about. He says the article said that there's this kid who won more than $1 million in scholarships. Okay. Now, I'm not discounting the fact that this child is probably brilliant, but no, he did not win $1 million in scholarships. That headline is very common, and it is meant to deceive parents who don't understand what this really is. What they're doing is, if you actually read the entire article, you will find, and I didn't even have to read it. I have seen this so many times. This happens at least 2 or 3 times a year. I see it all the time. When you read the article, you find that this is a child who applied to probably 100 schools or more and was offered some scholarship at each school. So what the media does is it adds up all of the opportunity scholarships that each college offered. The kid can only choose one. And when you look at the balance, chances are they've still got to come up with $70,000, even if they choose a state school. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because parents need to understand how the game is played, and most don't. And the media is deliberately deceptive. I've seen, it's unfortunate, but I've seen counselors in my industry do the same thing. And I find it a lack of integrity, to be honest with you, because I feel that they are playing on the naivety of the parents. So always think about, what is it that you're reading, and is this really true? And try to figure out, why would they use that headline? Well, it's just to get you to read the article. That's where their numbers come in. And the same is true for colleges. Colleges advertise to get you to go there. But guess what? None of them are offering that they're attending their school is going to get your kid a higher salary. Ever notice that? I found that very interesting. So how did our poll come out? What did we end up with, Olivia?
We had middle school and high school.
Most middle school and high school kids. Awesome. We've got a couple of seniors headed to college, and some with adults already left. No more kids at home. I get that. That's awesome. I love not having kids at home right now. It is fabulous. My kids are grown and they're off on their own. Matter of fact, my daughter is selling her house and buying another one right now. And my son is on his own as well. And it is fabulous to watch them live their life fully without having student loan debt.
In fact, according to your story, I mean, they had leftover money
They did.
after
Yeah.
graduating college. So that is unheard of. So kudos to your kids.
It's I didn't realize how often this happens. I didn't research that. I researched how to get my kids into college, how to get them accepted, how to get the scholarships and things like that. What I did not realize is that, yes, okay, so I've mentioned already 30% graduate debt free. That's freaking awesome. But how many actually graduate with enough scholarships to cover their entire cost of attendance? Only 1.5% of college students have enough scholarships to cover their entire cost of attendance. It's that rare. It's a strategy, and you have to follow that strategy. I was so excited when my son graduated with $10,000 left over, because I thought he could outfit his new apartment and not live like a broke college student the rest of his life. Because I still have a brother that lives like a broke college student. But I'm glad he hung on to that money, because God had other plans. Within 3 months of starting his first postgraduate job, his car broke down and needed a new transmission. Now, you fellas know what a new transmission costs. That's got some zeros on it. And he started having more car trouble. Like almost every month, there was something that needed repairing. Then his computer broke. That was $1,000 repair. Then he wrecked a rental car. That was a $1,000 deductible. And then his apartment lost electricity for an entire week. So we had to replace all the food in his refrigerator and freezer. That was another $500 worth of food. He never once had to ask us for money. He had what he needed. And even months later, with all the, yes, more repairs on the car, my husband asked one afternoon, he said, can you still see our son's account, see his balance? I said, yeah, why? He said, is he doing okay? Because he was worried that, maybe he was running out of money with all these repairs he had to do and stuff. And I said, he's doing fine. He's got more money in the bank than we do. He's in great shape. He's in awesome shape, as a matter of fact. I want to say back in September or November, he told his dad, he said, Dad, I'm at a point in my career. He's 26 years old, and he's saying this. I'm at a point in my career where I can buy anything that I want without checking my budget. How many 40-year-olds can say that? I mean, it's just absolutely amazing to see the opportunities and the possibilities that, we have when we don't have that debt.
And I have a question for you, Denise, because your kids were homeschooled. So were there like disadvantages or advantages of them being homeschooled to get scholarships versus students who were in school?
I think that there are both. There are disadvantages and advantages. The disadvantage would be that you don't have a high school counselor. Tag, you're it. You know, I mean, that was probably one of the biggest come to Jesus moments that I had myself when I realized my daughter was starting high school and I was responsible for her education. I'm responsible for making sure she has the credits she needs and the activities she needs to get accepted into college. And of course, my goal was with scholarships. So not having that kind of, I'm gonna call it professional experience to rely on, I thought was a disadvantage as a homeschooler. Also, on occasion, not often, but on occasion, there will be a school that wants homeschoolers to jump through some additional hoops, maybe some additional testing or what have you. Or perhaps to get a particular scholarship, homeschoolers have a higher test score or higher GPA to be eligible. Discrimination, yes, but it is what it is. You know, private entities can do whatever they want. So there can be some disadvantages. But on the flip side, the advantage also is that you don't have someone else to rely on, because that someone else does not have time to do the research, does not have just your child's interests, best interest at heart. They have hundreds of children under their purview that they have to help finish high school and deal with their other things that they have going on in life, in school, at home. It's not their priority for the vast majority of schools. There are a few private schools in the country that have a specialized counselor just to help kids get into college, but that's not the norm. But the other advantage for homeschooling, I think, is that as a homeschooler, I did have to think about the high school curriculum early. I had to order it. I had to decide what was it going to be, what vendor were we using, what classes would they take. So when it came to that, I think that there are advantages, probably more so than there are disadvantages. Is it tough having that weight on your shoulders, knowing that you're the one responsible for making this happen for your kids? Absolutely. But starting early is what homeschoolers do, because we have to. I think, though, that the vast majority are still believing the same thing that the rest of the country believes, to wait until junior year to do certain things that are college related. Whereas in my research, the kids that are graduating debt free, the 30%, they start a lot earlier than what we're being told or what we believe to do. I've made a post earlier today that one of the things that we did, if I think about just the overarching umbrella of what was different that made this happen for my kids, and what we did is the complete opposite of what is common thought. If what you hear and have heard for decades is this, what would happen if you did just the opposite? Because if you think about it, if everybody is doing this one thing or these 5 things, yet 70% are graduating with student loan debt, that ought to raise a few red flags in your mind. It says something they're doing isn't working. So let's do something different.
That's awesome. And Daya just put in a comment here that, because of homeschooling, you're a little bit more free to take on some extracurricular activities that can add to your college resume. So that's excellent, Daya. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to, I think one of the myths that we're told is that your kid has to take all of the AP classes or honors classes or whatever's available at your school to be competitive. Yes and no. It just depends on your goal. What is the end goal? My end goal was college acceptance with scholarships. Colleges that expect / require / everybody who applies has 15 AP classes or IB classes, they're not offering scholarships. So in my opinion, who cares? Because that's not the goal. The goal is acceptance with scholarships from this perspective. So it all depends on what your goal is for your children and your family. And I love that Dia brought up that you have more opportunities. And the reason I mentioned AP classes is because when it comes to AP classes, IB classes, et cetera, your kid is in school for 8 hours, maybe 9. And then they come home and do 5 or 6 or another 8 hours worth of homework for those classes. It becomes really difficult and stressful for your teenagers to have time to participate in activities, in leadership, in many of the other things that helps them to stand out. Because today, GPA and test scores, it's not enough anymore. Everybody has a great GPA. Everybody has great test scores. It's not enough to make your kids stand out and appear special on that application. You've got to have some activities that are personal, that are things that light you up as a teenager. So that's just one of the things that I talk about in my Cracking the Code to Free College course is what courses should your kids be taking throughout high school? And then in addition to that, now let's talk about what are we doing outside of the classroom?
I know Mila put in a great top anecdote here about her daughter being able to volunteer thousands of hours for volunteer service. And so that helped her to stand apart. So that's excellent. So speaking of activities, we just want to honor all of you, each and every one of you, your time for being here, supporting Denise. So we are going to play Spin the Wheel. So I think I've accounted for everybody's as present because you must be present to win. And the first prize from Denise is going to be a $20 gift card. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. Can everyone see this? Excellent. All right, let me get this bar out of the way. And we are going to shuffle this so that way everyone knows it's fair. We're not rigging the wheel here today. Let's see, where can I get to shuffle? Just bear with. There it is. Okay, shuffle. And then the other component of the wheel is that if you invited a guest, your name gets to be entered here on twice. So congrats, Mila, your name is here twice because you were very instrumental in announcing this Amazon book launch and bringing in people. And if you are watching and you're off camera or if you're just watching us live from the Facebook group, please let us know if you bought the book. So if you bought the book, you can show us, be on camera, hold up the book. If you bought the book at Denise's convention, you get an extra spin on the wheel too. So here we go. This is our first spin. All right. Congratulations, Maureen. We'd love to see you on camera if possible. So we can give you a big shout out. So let us know if you can come on camera. So congratulations to you, Maureen. You're the first gift card recipient. Oh, thank you, Dia. Yep, she just posted on Facebook for people to buy the book. Yes, we've got the Amazon short link right up here. It's also in the chat. So we made it super easy for you to go find the book. And let's do another poll. So this poll is asking, what is your experience with private scholarships? All right, so let me launch that poll now. Here we go. So have you started looking? Have you looked but only found ones that your kid does not qualify for? Have you looked but only found need-based scholarships? You found some scholarships and applied but haven't won any. Or your kid has won multiple scholarships, so yay. So what is your experience with private scholarships? All right. So while the poll is going on, one of the things that I also found remarkable, Denise, as one of your strategies, I think I might have heard, is that I think your son took the ACT, what, like 7 times over to get the score that we're getting the money. And I never heard of that before. And just the persistence alone, because number one, those tests are just, sometimes very brutal. And number two, it's expensive, to keep retaking the test, but as well worth in the end, I suppose, to get the scholarship money.
Yeah, I will say that, one of the myths that I try to have people understand is that, well, two myths surrounding the ACT and SAT exams. First of all, in the days of post-COVID, a lot of people are still touting, well, colleges are test optional, so you don't have to have those exams. Don't bother taking them. They're test optional, that type of thing. Well, no, colleges are not test optional. Yes, they are giving the child the option to submit or not. But in the 2021-22 year, because we have that entire result, colleges accepted those who submitted scores 250% more than those who did not submit scores. That says they want the scores. Because whether you like it or not, they are assuming, and unconscious probably, that if you did not submit the score, then maybe it wasn't that great. Maybe you took the test and it wasn't that great of a score, or you chose not to take it for some reason. Colleges want the test scores. Another myth is that, if you take it too many times, it's going to look bad to colleges. Okay, so let's back that up a little bit. Only 10% of colleges want every score that your child ever took. Okay. So some people think that it looks bad. Actually, as long as your score has improved and you're not stuck at that same number, it still says that you're trying, that you're improving, you're learning some more. Maybe you're learning test taking skills. Maybe you're learning the content better. Another myth surrounding that is that you won't do any better if you take it more than 2, maximum 3 times. That myth assumes it's a IQ test, and it is not. This is a strategy exam. It's logic. Yes, there's content involved, but not nearly as much as people think it is. But my son, and I'm not even sure how many times he took the darn test. My daughter took it even more than he did. But my son had been accepted to his college with a nice scholarship. And then he took the SAT again. Now, this is something that most families are unaware of, and most high school counselors. For many colleges, they will accept additional test scores, higher scores, after you have submitted your child's application. So let's say that your kid, like mine, was accepted. Yay! And here's the scholarship we're offering. Fabulous. If you ask this question, what is the latest test date that you will accept for additional higher level scholarships, to be considered for higher level scholarships? Now, for some schools, the exam that you submit with your application, that's it. Sorry, no additional stuff is applicable. You're done. But for a lot of schools, they will accept additional scores up through January score. Others I've seen go as late as June ACT test date after your kid has even graduated from high school. That is phenomenal. My son had taken a December senior year test. Remember, he already had his acceptance and his scholarship. Well, he was attending the freshman orientation in February, early February for that school, where you get to choose your classes and things like that. And that's when I happened upon his latest test score. I looked at it on my phone and said, oh, that's a higher level scholarship at this school. So I called the financial aid department and mentioned it. I said, so my son is here doing his orientation, and I noticed his most recent test score would bump him up to the higher level scholarship. And I'm like, question. And they said, oh, yes, absolutely. Just send us the new score and he'll get the bigger scholarship. People, that was another 10 grand. ask the right questions. And don't believe for a minute that taking it once or twice is all you need to do. If your score does not improve in a couple of times, get help. Because it's not an IQ test. It's a strategy exam.
Wow, so cool. So I've got the results of that poll. So let me bring up the poll results here so we can all see it together. I didn't do it the first time, but here. So sharing results, 60% have said they have not started looking.
I want you to see the subtitle of this book, K through College. I don't care how old your kids are, there is money available. Start looking now. The longer you wait, the more money you're leaving on the table.
Great advice. There's a question here in the chat from Tiffany. Tiffany, if you want to expand on this, but she was told not to take the SAT, ACT again because it would harm her high school's high national ratings because they're so low. Tiffany, did you want to come on and say,
Yeah, if you can, that would be great, Tiffany.
Sure, yeah. So, and this was many years ago at this
Sure.
point, but my high school was ranked in the top in the nation. And I got a 950 on my SAT combined, which is pretty low. And as you can see, now now I've earned my doctorate. So the testing itself, like you said, it's not necessarily predictive, but it is an indicator that is still utilized in a lot of places. And my school, the counselor flat out told me, don't take the test again, because if I take the test again, then it's going to register another lower score than the 1600, 16 kids that got 1600 in my grade. And that it would harm the national ratings. So I'm so thankful that you're doing this and talking not only about, you know, graduating college debt free, but also talking about strategy in general. And you have such a wealth of knowledge, and I'm so excited to read your book. I just can't wait for it to come in the mail.
Well, thank you, Tiffany. And I cannot tell you how many times I have heard a parent say something that came from a high school counselor that, whether or not it's true for that particular school or counselor, who cares? I care about you. You care about your children and your grandchildren. Obviously, that individual did not have your personal best interest in mind. Okay. And, you know, I just find that ridiculous, but it is that these types of things are what we, you know, are dealing with. I'll give you another strategy that's not in this book because it's not necessary. Well, I touch on it in the book, but not a lot. So when it comes to testing, one of the things that I teach my families, especially those who come to me early, please God, come to me early. If you have kids, I've got families now, and I thank God for them, because they are actually looking at their finances, realizing that they have kids under the age of 8. And by the time their kids are going to college, they're literally going to have to find $1 million or more. They've done the math already, and they're calling me. And my job right then and there is to talk them off the ledge, because they're already in a position where they're thinking about it. They're making the action. They're calling me now. Fabulous. Awesome. Here's what's going to happen. You can do this now. And there are things that we can do on an ongoing basis. Is it too early at age 8? No, scholarships begin in kindergarten. But we're not talking about stress. We're talking about taking these things slowly so there is no stress, right? But one of the things that, with regard to testing, we were just talking about is the PSAT exam. And most people still call it a practice SAT. It is not. Never has been. It is the preliminary SAT. but its entire purpose is to find the national merit scholars in the country. So many schools either don't offer it to their kids, which mind-blowing that they wouldn't even offer it. And many of them, many counselors will tell the families, oh, don't bother studying for it. It's, you know, nobody wins national merit. Well, if that were true, maybe only valedictorians would win. But the truth is there are 8,000 first place winners every year. And 15,000 get almost as much money as the 8,000, which is the second place winners. So yeah, take the test. And yes, just like the ACT and the SAT, you can study for it and you can get a great score. So yeah, there's a lot of myths that that I love helping families bust out of.
I'm surprised because I remember taking my PSATs and we took it very seriously. And so I'm surprised that other schools are not saying to study for that. And they're
Well, you know,
missing out on
even
national merit.
I know, even my high school. Now, I went to an all-girls high school, you know, prim and proper, and they only took, I don't have any clue why I was in this number, but they only took about 20 of us girls to take that exam. We were in the library, like 20 of us to take the PSAT. Rest, they just popped us out of class one day. No notice, nothing. Here, you're going to spend 3 hours in this room taking these tests. Okay. Look, I was not, I ran with the smart kids, but I was not one of them. Okay. I did not graduate valedictorian. I think I was like in the top, I don't know, 10% maybe or whatever, but it was not the top. So, and I've known kids who are valedictorians of their high school, and their high school did not offer the PSAT exam. And so the child didn't even know about it, did not know that you can take it at another school if your school does not offer it. So there's just, it's so important. It's so important to know how the game is played and know where the money is, because starting early, if the earlier you start, I'm telling you, the more opportunities there are for everything in this entire realm of the game of college, the way I call it.
So don't hate the game, just learn to play it.
Exactly. Play by your rules.
Oh, I like that a lot. Play by the rules. And speaking about private scholarships, can you make a clarification around the need-based versus merit-based?
Absolutely. I do have, I hear this a lot. Parents will call and say, all I can find is scholarships that that are need-based. Okay, so private scholarships, we're talking private scholarships here, not the one offered by the college themselves. Private scholarships are offered by individuals, by industries, by companies. You can offer a private scholarship if, you know, whatever college you graduated from or high school you graduated from, you can offer a scholarship for those students. It can be $250, $500. It doesn't have to cost you a fortune. All you have to do is offer it. It's that simple. And you can even cap the number of applicants. It's your scholarship. If you don't want to look at more than 100 applications, you're done. 101 come in, that one goes in the trash without opening it. That's the way the rules work. So let's talk about need-based scholarships. A need-based scholarship is one that has a financial component within the criteria. So they may ask for the family income. They might ask for a specific line item on your taxes to know what it is. They may ask for, they may say, to be eligible for this scholarship, you have to have an income under X. Or to be eligible, you may, maybe they'll say your kid has to be on the school lunch program. Or maybe they'll say your FAFSA, EFC or SAI, just an acronym, your FAFSA number that it throws out after you play with that game, comes out below this number. Unless the scholarship is specific, as I mentioned, unless it says you have to be under this income or you have to have, you know, whatever, your kid should still apply. Just because they're asking for the amount of money you make and there is a financial component does not mean that that financial component is weighted heavily. Both of my kids won national scholarships that had a financial component. Now, I happen to know how that scholarship is scored. So I know that the financial component is not very high. They put much more emphasis on your child's GPA or their test scores or their activities or their leadership roles than they do the financial component. So apply if you qualify. And unless they're being specific that, oh, I don't qualify because, we make too much, make sure you know you make too much. If it says that, sure, don't apply. But if not, there may be other aspects of that application that your child can come out on top of.
Oh, this is so, oh my gosh, mind-blowing information. I love it. I love it so much. Thank you, Tiffany, for asking all your questions too. And it's time for another spin the wheel. So here we go. And so this will be for another $20 gift card. So let me go ahead and pull this up here for everyone. All right, I'm going to shuffle these names. Woo, fantastic, Dr. Moses.
Congrats, Dr. Moses.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if anyone has purchased the book during this event, if you can take a screenshot of your receipt from Amazon, you'll get an additional entry into this next spinning of the wheel, which is for a $50 gift card from Amazon.
Excellent. That is so awesome. I just want to give a shout out because we got some people watching on LinkedIn. So here I'm going to read out some comments. Christy Williams says, this looks like a great book, Denise. She's in the credit repair industry, and she has learned that student loan debt can be crippling. It's an obstacle for people wanting to buy homes and other loans.
Absolutely.
And she also said this, I would not allow my son to have student loan debt. His employer is paying for the college. So thank you, Christy, for sharing this information with us.
That is awesome. Yeah, when I first started to bring this program online to the masses, so to speak, I found in several of the groups of adult entrepreneurs that I knew who in their 40s can't buy a house. They're still struggling with that debt. And when I attended a conference back in California pre-COVID, a lady literally grabbed my arm and said, we need you. And it's like, okay, who is we? She works for a financial firm that is strictly financial for physicians, medical doctors only, and they handle all of their personal finances. She said, we have doctors whose children want to become doctors, but they don't want their kids to have the debt that they had. Absolutely. If you've got kids or grandkids that especially want to go into some type of higher level beyond the bachelor's degree, for goodness sakes, get the bachelor's degree for free or as close to free as humanly possible. Because then you're not adding that $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 worth of debt on top of medical school debt. And oh, by the way, yes, there are scholarships for professional school as well.
That's amazing. Dr. Moses, you also are in higher ed. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm sorry. Repeat that, please.
Yes. So you're also in education. What are your thoughts around, scholarships?
Well, I think what Denise is doing is absolutely great. And as I listen to what she has shared, the thought keeps running across my mind when you're dealing with with counselors. We don't have enough of them. And what Denise is doing is grossly needed. And the counselors, I remember waiting to talk to an assistant dean, and the secretary was asking me about my work, and we start talking. And she said, well, I remember when I was in school, the counselor lined us up, had 5 chairs at the door. And the person in the first chair said, uh, you go to Cal State. The next one went to went to the next college, and she was just pointing out what school that they were to go to. And when she was through, they got up and the next 5 came in, and that's how she was doing that. Another thing is that a lot of time, even at the high school level, with this 250 to 1, which is too many, the guidance is not there. And so what Denise is doing is absolutely needed, and she should continue to do that work.
Thank you, Dr. Moses.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm going to read just a little bit of what is chapter 9 in this book. And the book is very, very step by step. What I have done is to make sure that that parents and families can go through this, and literally from the very first part of the book, you're taking action. From chapter 2 or 3, you're literally taking action to find scholarships for your kids. And it's not just for kids going, from high school to college. There are aspects in here for those who are already in college and those who are just getting started. Maybe they're not even in high school yet. There's opportunities for everyone. So chapter 9 is learning from past winners. I'm not sure if you can see that or if it's backwards on mine. But what we're doing is I'm explaining to people how we use the internet to search for scholarships that your child has the best chance of winning. And we've all heard, go with local scholarships because there's less competition. Well, that is a true statement. So you don't want to not do local scholarships. But I've also heard families say, I don't know how to find local scholarships. This is one of those strategies for local scholarships, but I cover everything in the book. So now we're going to search the keywords with names of other students in your area. You're looking for the newspaper articles. I'm not sure, Olivia, if you can pin me or not. Can you do that?
Yep, you're pinned.
Awesome. Okay. We're going to search for the keywords for names of other students. Okay. Other students in your area. You're going to search newspaper articles, which may list the names of scholarships that were awarded to those students. And this is most easily found in the late spring or early summer when announcements are made. So what are we in right now? Spring. Okay. Here are some of the ways of finding this information. Look in the community news section of your local newspaper. It can be in print or online. For an internet search, use the name of your town newspaper and the words graduating senior or graduate. You might see a photo of the student and a quick rundown of the scholarships that they were awarded. You can also attend local high school senior awards nights and take notes or pick up an award night program if the student awards are listed. So now, why is this important? Because I have yet to see a high school counselor's list of local scholarships to be complete. It's not. Kids who are using different strategies are finding scholarships from everywhere. High school counselors can't possibly list every scholarship. They are listing the scholarships that their kids at their school have won most often or most recently. But if you attend these awards nights opportunities and get the names of these scholarships that these kids have won, now Google search the names of those scholarships. If you have a high school freshman or sophomore or junior, do this every year. Google search the names of those scholarships and drop straight down to the criteria. See if your child can qualify or will qualify, or do they need to do something, and is there time to do that thing to be able to qualify for those scholarships? You never know what you're going to find.
That's awesome. Jackie Bailey just bought a copy of the book. Woohoo!
Thank
Great
you,
job,
Jackie.
Yes, awesome.
Jackie works with kids, and I know that she will share it with those who are in the most need. Jackie, you are so awesome in what you do as well. So excited. And
Jackie, you
Dale
can
has the book.
spin on the wheel. And Dale, yay!
Dale works with kids who are high school and college with that college transition. So Dale works with kids who need this as well. You see, you don't have to be the adult with the child. If you're a grandparent with children, there are children in your space, if you work in a church or go to a church that has kids in the youth program, everybody needs this. It's really a great opportunity. Thank you both so much.
Awesome. A question came through from Brian in the chat. Are you able to maybe demo that Google search for us real quick? Can you screen share and do that, or?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see if let me open my thing here. All right, so this is actually pretty cool. Zoom, screen share, Google search. Okay. All right, so hopefully you can see my Google Chrome thing here. First of all, I notice the Google logo in the middle. Every now and then, if you're using Google, you will notice that there are drawings around this Google logo very often. That's a $1,000 scholarship somebody's kid won. Just saying. Hope you're taking notes. All right. So let's say that there's a child in our area who won the Elks Most Valuable Student scholarship. What does that entail? Okay. This is a scholarship that opens in the fall and closes on November 14th or 15th, depending on what year. Okay. Kids are judged on scholarship, leadership, and financial need. Now notice, it does say financial need. And most families are going to turn it off right then and there, close that tab, and move on to another scholarship name. Please don't do that. This one does not say that you have to earn below a certain level. It is a need component, not the whole thing. Okay. You do not have to be a member of the Elks Club. Elks is a local organization, but it's also a regional and a national organization. What's cool about this one is that it starts at the local level. The local Elks Club offers a small scholarship, maybe $500. And then going toward the national scholarship starts at $1,000 per year to $12,000 per year. Now, what does that mean when I say per year? What that means is that, excuse me, is that this is a recurring 4-year scholarship. How cool is that? You just have to maintain your status in your college and be a full-time student, have your minimum 12 hours. Okay. This one doesn't even require your teenager to maintain a certain GPA to maintain the 4 years of scholarship. They just have to maintain being there full-time. They have a scholars weekend. Look at how many scholarships they give. The national level, so your child again starts at the local level and moves up, but there's a total of 480 scholarships awarded every year at the national level. Your kid's got a good chance. But again, most families will look at this and see financial need at the top and immediately say, no, that's not going to be for us. So just because it says financial need doesn't mean you can't apply. There's a good chance you might win 480 scholarships every year for that particular organization.
That was so incredible to see that live in action. Oh my gosh. Scholarships are everywhere. You just got to find a strategy to look for them.
Yeah, and I want to mention one more thing with regard to scholarships is this. Oh, thank you, Eva. Eva bought the book as well. Another thing that's really cool, a friend of mine who is quite wealthy asked, Denise, why do I need scholarships for my kids? We can afford it. I mean, literally, she makes 100 grand in a weekend. It's just not that hard. I said, because while yes, it is about the money, but it's also about the win. Now listen to what I'm going to say here. If you've ever gone to a high school senior awards night, even for your own high school decades ago, have you ever noticed that about the same 5 kids are winning all the awards? Why is that? Because people like winners. It's not just that we're talking about, oh, well, you know, it just happens to be the 5 kids that are at the top of the class. Maybe not. There's usually plenty of kids that are top of the class, right? So what it is this. When you apply to a lot of these scholarships and to your college, your child's college or university application will likely ask for the list of the names of the other scholarships your child has won and how much money they won for each scholarship. Now, anytime I saw that, honestly, I cringed because I was like, oh, they're not going to want my kid to win another scholarship. They're going to want to spread the wealth around. But they filled out the application anyway, filled out the list of scholarships they had already won. And then they would win again. This is why. If you remember back on the playground, when we were playing games like Red Rover, or Red Light, Green Light, we chose the strongest, fastest kids to be on our team. We chose winners. It's innate. It's ingrained in us as human beings to choose winners. Yes, now and then we're going to bet on the underdog, but that's not 100% of the time. That's pretty rare. We want winners. You're picking stocks, you're picking the most winning stocks you can find. And yeah, I'll do a penny stock here and there to, you know, maybe lift somebody off a little and give them a little bit of a, you know, a help, right? But the vast majority of us are not going to deliberately only choose people who are on the bottom. It's unconscious, it's subconscious. So the reason subconsciously that we choose winners is because if we're betting money on someone, it's kind of cool to know that someone else has already bet money on them. We don't feel like we're taking as much of a risk. Does that make sense? And the same is true if you look at college students going on to internships and postgraduate employment. That's why having an internship is so important, because your postgraduate employer is going to want to pick a winner. They're going to pick students who have already had a little experience. Someone else has already bet time and money and invested in them. It's just who we are as humans. So my kids won and attended college on 17 scholarships. But as Ava said, it's kind of this, and Dia said, it's kind of the snowball effect. You know, once you get rolling, and it's not just applying to a bunch of scholarships, it's understanding what it takes to win. That'll be a different book. But there's so many opportunities out there. There are 1.8 million scholarships available every year for a total of $23 billion given away. There's money to be had. So Olivia, I think we're probably about ready for that last opportunity on the wheel, right?
Yeah, I know. We could just keep going. This is like so fascinating.
But I did want to get one more poll out. Unless you're not aware, this is going to be the first book in a series. I'm hoping to launch at least 2 or 3 more books this year, this calendar year. Fingers crossed if I don't get sidetracked by something else. But what I'd like to do is get your opinion. Those of you who are here, what should the next book topic be about? Let me know.
Yes, so this will be our last poll for the event, and we're going to do a grand finale spin the wheel for $50 gift card. And if you showed that you bought the book, you got an extra spin on the wheel. So I made sure to count for Jackie and Dale and Ava just now. And so for Denise's book series, what topic would you like to see next? The poll is live now in the chat.
And if you have another opinion, if something else came to your mind, put it in the chat for me as well.
All right, let's get a few more responses. Okay, ending poll and sharing the results. How to write a winning essay.
Awesome.
That's going to be the next one in the series.
I'll be happy to write that one with you, Denise.
It just very well might be an anthology. We will talk about that.
And shout out to Jackie Bailey, because you have been running like Toastmasters for high school students, the Gavel Club. Are there scholarships tied in with that too?
There is a scholarship for everything. Literally. There is a scholarship for everything. There's a scholarship for zombie apocalypse. There are scholarships. There's several scholarships for kids that are into ham radio. Really? I didn't even know that was still a thing, to be honest with you. Like, really? Ham radio? Yes, there's at least 4 of those that I'm aware of for sure. There's a scholarship for literally almost everything under the sun. If you can name it, somebody has probably thought of offering a scholarship for that. And it's really amazing of what's available. And every time that I go out and speak, I always ask the people that I'm speaking to, if you want to be part of the solution, not only for your own kids and grandkids, but for the people in your community, offer a scholarship. Anyone can do this. All you have to do, you don't have to be a nonprofit, you don't have to be a business, you can just be a family that wants to offer a scholarship. It can be for your, being alumni at your particular high school. Let's say you want to offer a scholarship to someone who went to your high school or someone who went to your college, and you want to offer a college scholarship for a college sophomore who's taking your classes, the classes you took or the major that you're in, and has a certain GPA, or is intending to go into the industry that you work in. My son won a scholarship to his college. This scholarship was just for someone entering engineering who was going to attend his university, who lived in a tri-county area. Now that's a local scholarship. But there was competition. There was an interview process. He actually had to go in and be part of an interview. And I think there was probably five adults. And of course, he's the single person, like a, inquisition kind of thing. He gets a letter back in the mail a few weeks later. He did not win the scholarship. But they liked his interview so much, they wanted to give him something anyway and gave him a check for $500. Y'all, there's money out there.
These are just so incredible testimonials, Denise. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and spin this wheel. So
I think we had another person come in, Lisa. I think Lisa came in late. Make sure that everybody's on the wheel.
Add Lisa in as well. Okay.
Awesome.
Lisa, if you can turn your camera on, I'll add you. There you go. All right. Way to go coming in. Let me add you to wheel real quick. So Lisa. All right. and share screen. Here we go. I'm gonna shuffle this up. Okay, so that said Sonia. Sonia, are you able to come on camera? I know you're here in the Zoom, but if you're able to come on camera, then we can award it to you. It was so close. I thought for sure it was gonna be Donovan. Did you want to spin again?
Here, cool, yay.
Awesome. So glad to turn on your camera. Thank you so much. You've been here the entire time, so that was awesome.
Well, Donovan jumped in, and Donovan wanted to say a couple things. I did give his family a little bit of a hand recently. So Donovan, would you like to say a few words?
Sure, yeah. Denise, you had mentioned, I think quite a while back, that I could get a book that you had recommended for appealing I guess it was like appealing your college's crappy financial offer is what the title of the book was, or something along those lines. And we didn't get it. And then we circled back around and I kind of told you where we're at with the offers that were coming for our daughter. And then you just reminded me about the book, and we never ended up getting the book, but I just like reminded Lucy about that idea, and she cranked out an email and just did the appeal, and they actually knocked the tuition down by $12,000 per year. So that's just type it up an email.
Yeah.
So that was worth it.
It's $48,000
per year.
For a 15-minute. Yeah. For a 15-minute conversation, you know, I mean, it's amazing what just a little bit of reminding and knowledge and guidance will do.
We could have skipped that again. That would have not been good.
Well, you know, here's the bad part is, had you not done that, and then it would have been a year or two later where the thought came back, or you ran across something and you went, oh, yeah.
Well, we would never have guessed that it would be 12,000 either. You know, even in retrospect, I wouldn't even have that much regret, because that was actually a pretty major surprise.
It's significant, and I think people don't realize how much can be possible. And part of it is just being willing to, what's the worst can happen? They can say no. You know, part of it is being willing to ask. The other part is being specific, and you know, you just don't know what's going to happen. And there's so many opportunities out there. I'm so happy for your family and for your daughter.
Yeah, I guess we could almost assume it's like when you're negotiating a car deal and they're used car salesmen at the colleges.
That's a great analogy.
Put that in your book.
It is a great analogy.
Why would they discount it further? Hey, I'm going to go talk to my manager and put that down.
Yes.
And, oh, they're only going to knock that down by $5. Oh, okay, fine.
Well, if you think about it, it is really a good analogy, because the car dealer wants the sale, and they've got a bird in a hand right here that wants to buy. So if we can make it a little more attractive, maybe they'll freaking buy now, instead of me waiting for maybe somebody else will come along, right? That is just.
But you don't need to mark it down any further if you don't need to.
That's exactly right. But you never know unless you ask, right? Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Well, this concludes our Amazon book launch. If you bought the book, please make sure to leave a review and take pictures of the book and post it all over social media and tell your friends. This is such an incredible, valuable resource that is not meant to be kept secret. So
absolutely.
Yeah, there's money to be had, like Denise said, and learn to play the game by your own rules.
Absolutely. And when you buy the book, please leave a review on Amazon. I really appreciate that. And if you would also take a selfie and send it to me, because I would love to be able to promote the book with you, my good friends who are supporting me. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, everyone. Congratulations, Denise. Woohoo! And
thank you, Olivia.
And
for those of you who won the wheels, the Amazon gift cards, those will be coming via email later today. Thank you all so much.
Yes, so congratulations, Dr. Moses, Maureen, and Sonia. Woo, our gift card winners. Have a great day, everyone.